debate continues around the exact message from election and verdict 2024. Another senior RSS leader has taken a swipe at the BJP, calling them arrogant. There's a lot to talk about in this special broadcast. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. As Modi 3.0 and the NDA government attempt to get their work underway, the Prime Minister is already on his first big foreign policy trip abroad. The debate continues as to why and how Narendra Modi lost his majority. There are many theories, many explanations, and a number of people doing the number crunching. Where does this result leave the BJP's fortunes? What message should they learn as they go ahead? Assembly elections are up next. And where does this leave the Congress party, the opposition, and the regional parties? All of these questions are being posed on a day when another RSS voice has hit the headlines. Now, you would remember that Mohan Bhagwat, without taking any names, did warn against a lack of dignity and decorum in the campaign. Today, the RSS's Indresh Kumar was even more direct, saying those who became arrogant were stopped at 241. What is going on between the RSS and the BJP? Was the lack of enthusiasm by cadres in some states a reason for why Modi lost majority? What are the signals to both the opposition and the ruling party? Amitabh Tiwari, leading political analyst, has been crunching numbers ever since more data was available. And there's some very, very interesting insights on his social feeds. We borrowed from some of them. Amitabh Tiwari is with us here this evening. Welcome, Amitabh. It is a pleasure to see you. Let me start straight away by asking you, when I look at the numbers that you have been looking at, and you had to pick up one big message from the verdict, what would you say it is for both sides, the ruling party and the opposition? Hang on, Amitabh, I can't hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
In fact, the messages are three. First is balance of power, because India is a federal state and the people have voted for regional parties to have a bigger pie of the power cake at the center. The second is...
Just 1 second. Since you're talking about regional parties, we should show that slide where you talk about how the pie of regional parties. There it is. Go ahead.
Yeah. The second is of stability, because BJP continues to be the central pole of Indian politics, and it has still 2.5 times of the tally of Congress and almost 80% of the tally of the BJP. And the third is continuity, because voters have voted for Modi to be the prime minister, but with a lesser mandate to adopt a more consensus, accommodative approach, because that's what India is. It has sort of, you can say, rejected the aggressive, hardcore Hindutva and voted for a more accommodative, liberal Hindutva sort of. So these are the three main messages of balance, continuity, and stability, I would say.
So this is very interesting that, before we actually get to the numbers, you say it's a rejection of hardcore Hindutva. Do you believe that the BJP will take that message, or do you think the BJP might double down on Hindutva as they tried to do in the campaign when the turnout was falling? They tried to double down. Mr. Modi himself made several, polarizing speeches. They got him no gains.
Yeah, essentially, if you see from phase 1 or 2, I think the statements of the Hindu, Muslim, and we all were thinking why these statements were being made. At that point of time, like Yashwantji says, the lower turnout was sort of a googly for the BJP, because out of the 5 times, if we remove this election, of the 5 times BJP has come to power, including the 13-day 1996 government, 4 times the BJP came to power on an increased turnout scenario. So increase of or improvement of turnout when an incumbent is seeking a pro-incumbency vote is a positive message. It speaks of positivity, more people joining the bandwagon, etc. So at that point of time, I think BJP's dilemma was to charge the core or to hold on to the neutral. Now, if you see the 37% vote share of the BJP in 2019, the BJP got around 25-26%, which you can call it as the core vote, whereas the 12% vote was the Modi factor vote, which is not the Hindutva vote largely. It is largely vote from middle and rich sections of the society for a stronger India, for nationalism, is a champion of the OBC, champion of the poor, etc. All those images which he had built, uh, growing stature of India internationally, etc. Now, when you charge the core, the non-core moves away because there's a fine balance between this. And when you charge the non-core, the core moves away.
Mm.
It is difficult to keep both together. And if we see the verdict, CSDS data, while BJP has held onto its rural and urban vote shares or support, its middle class and rich class vote share has declined by 3% each. It has lost seats compared to BJP compared to 2019 in the urban category seats, because urban seats, of course, many people categorize it in different manner, but this is what happened.
That's very interesting because actually the assumption, and I'll tell you, like from my travels, uh, I traveled by road from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, Amitabh, and I found a couple of things which I want to share, and you can maybe correlate them to your data. I found Mr. Modi was much more popular as a brand in cities than in small towns and than in villages. He was still a very dominant political brand, but even among his own voters, I would ask the voters, tell me two things you like and two things you don't like. In the two things that they would say they liked, one was India's place in the world, infrastructure, and how hard Modi works. ये तीन चीजें बहुत बारी बोली जाती थी. What do you not like? What do you want to see change? We want him to focus more on jobs. And ये हिंदू मुस्लिम कुछ ज्यादा हो गया है. थोड़ा कम करिए. This is the feedback I got. Now you are actually saying that even in the urban pockets, the BJP has taken a hit.
Yes, because this Hindu Muslim jada ho gaya hai is being reflected in the decline in support of the middle class and rich class by 3% each.
Hmm.
Is being reflected in the loss of 8 seats for the BJP amongst the urban areas, whereas the opposition has gained almost 19 seats in the urban areas. Rural areas also the BJP has lost. But what I'm trying to say is that the cream, see, 25-26% vote share is the core vote, which cannot take BJP beyond 272. It was this Modi factor of 11-12%, which was taking BJP past the 272 number. Now,
Hmm.
this factor has taken a hit. Even if you see CSDS data, it says that in 2019, one third of the voters of BJP would not have voted for BJP if Modi was not the PM candidate. But this number has reduced to one fourth in 2024. So the premium has taken a hit. So out of the 36-37% vote share which BJP has now, for which the breakup was 25-12% Modi factor, it is now roughly 27-9. So the Modi premium, which used to be 12% vote share for the BJP, is now almost 9%.
Let's turn to those slides, where you talk about the phrase you use is that brand Modi has stagnated. And as the elections got more localized, the Modi factor by itself, was not enough. Can we just slow down on these slides so we can look at them one by one? They're changing too quickly. You need to pause. Uh, can you talk about the Modi factor?
Yeah, so essentially, if you see why couldn't BJP get the majority, if we say correct,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Modi factor is one of the reasons or prime focus of that debate. So the first is that the BJP was contesting this election on a presidential style basis.
Hmm.
Modi ka bharosa, Modi ki guarantee, but the election became localized.
Hmm.
In 2019, 17% people voted on the prime ministerial face, 17%. And
Hmm.
roughly 31% people voted on the basis of the candidate, 43% on the basis of party. Now, in 2024, the number of people voting in the name of the prime minister has reduced to just 10%, whereas the voting in the name of the local candidate has increased from 31 to 36.
Hmm.
So BJP was contesting a presidential style election, but the number of people voting on the PM face has reduced from 17 to 10, and local candidate increased from 31 to 36. That's reason number one. Reason number two, Rahul was able to bridge the gap between himself and Prime Minister Modi in the prime ministerial ratings. Now, this lead used to be 27%, 24% in 2019. PM Modi had 47% rating and Rahul Gandhi 23% for who
Yeah.
will want to see the Prime Minister. This time, 41% people want to see Modi as Prime Minister as per CSDS data, and 27% Rahul Gandhi, which means the gap reduced to 14. So double impact, double
Yeah.
whammy. We are contesting a presidential election. The number of people voting has reduced in the name of PM face, and
And
the
in
gap the prime minister had is also reduced.
and in fact, if we bring up the CSDS slides on the prime ministerial preference, there's some very interesting things that happen here. So this is the overall sort of ratings, right? So what you were saying, 41% to Rahul Gandhi's 27%. Now, if you compare what these numbers are like over the last three elections, we find something very interesting. We find that Modi actually peaked in 2019 and has come down slightly. And
Yeah,
Rahul Gandhi has been steadily, the gap between Modi and Rahul is still very big. But Rahul Gandhi has been improving, whereas Modi's peak came down a bit this time. And in Uttar Pradesh, there's a slender advantage for Rahul Gandhi.
yeah.
And that's extraordinary. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, that's extraordinary. Who would have thought that? So,
Yeah,
and this is also reflected in the results of UP, correct? Because in UP, both the alliances have 44% vote share, and the 29-seat loss, if BJP had not suffered that loss, perhaps it would have gained majority on its own because it would have got
yeah,
269.
yeah,
So these two reasons, and then the third reason is that the uh, people who were voting in the name of Prime Minister Modi, as we discussed, one third for BJP amongst the BJP's core voters, also reduced to one fourth. So this again amplified the difficulties for BJP. People voting in the name of Prime Minister declining, Rahul closing the gap, and even amongst BJP supporters, the Modi premium declined because only one fourth voters voted in the name of Prime Minister Modi for BJP, which was one third in 2019. So these three reasons compounded the impact.
Now, here's the question, and if we can go back to Amitabh's analysis of the elections. When you say fewer people voted on the prime ministerial face, and therefore the elections were more localized, please slow down on your slides. Is that because the Modi brand took a hit, or is that because the elections got localized? Because these are two separate things. So, let me give you an example. In Maharashtra, for example, Modi was a popular political brand, but what had happened to Uddhav Thackeray did not go down well, even with Modi voters, otherwise Modi voters. And the election got localized even at the Lok Sabha. Assembly mein kya hoga is a different issue. But there was an overwhelming sense that what had happened to Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray, BJP ne theek nahi kiya. So that's one kind of response. The other kind of response is where, as you say, Modi himself as a political brand has peaked, and could he now be plateauing, or is it too early to say that? Because the BJP would not have got even 241 without Narendra Modi.
Correct. So there are two aspects to it. One is that the elections became localized, and that was not due to the weakening of the brand Modi. The elections became localized
So
because,
it's not because the Modi brand weakened, it's because the elections got localized.
yes, of due to different reasons.
Yeah,
Maharashtra, you get an example.
correct.
UP, we have reasons ranging from, or primarily the reason is that the BJP changed only 21% candidates in UP, whereas at the national level, if we exclude UP, the number is 50%. That's a huge number. You automatically, in the absence of a national narrative, by changing much fewer number of candidates, you take the election or the local chatter to a local level. Correct, कि ये candidate ने काम किया है कि नहीं, ये
Yeah.
किस जाति का है, ये सब बातें हो गई. तो Modi factor has plateaued or stagnated, declined is not because of localization. It is because of the premium which he was fetching the BJP, which is this one third voters who were voting only for Prime Minister Modi, that has reduced to one fourth. However, as you say, However, he is still fetching 9% vote share to the BJP, 9% out of the total 37%. Whereas the
So
gap between,
of the 37% of the BJP's
yeah,
vote share, 9% comes directly from
9%,
Modi. How do you reach
9%
that?
directly from BJP.
How do you
See,
reach
if
that number?
one fourth would not have voted for BJP if Modi was not the PM
Got
candidate.
it.
So
Got it.
37 by 4 is 9%. It
Got it.
used to be 12%.
Got
So
it.
12 minus 9 shows a decline. Correct. However, this 9% is still higher than the gap between NDA and India bloc, which is 3%. So as you said, if Modi was not there in the election, if you remove him from the equation, BJP's position would have been much weaker. So there are two ways to look at it. He is still helping BJP win these 240 seats, but the brand as a whole has plateaued, stagnated, and could even enter a decline phase as we go forward if things do not improve.
Yeah, we'll talk about what direction the third term may take. But let's look at what happens when BJP and Congress go head to head in direct contests, right? Because
Yeah.
this is much spoken about, and is the opposition at this point, or in particular the Congress, taking the wrong message from this performance? So when we look at the direct contests, no, can we go to what happens when the Congress and the BJP go to direct contests? Talk about that.
Yeah. So essentially,
Slow down and go to the previous slide, please, of this. Yes. Go ahead.
the
Amitabh, sorry.
whole,
I'm trying to instruct the producer at the back so we have the right slides.
no
Yeah.
problem. See, the whole crux of this election was, can Congress party defeat BJP in one-to-one direct contest?
Yeah.
Because many hardcore supporters also did not believe this.
Yeah.
While it is a known fact that regional parties can beat BJP or defeat BJP, can Congress defeat BJP? Now, in 2019, of the 190 contests, BJP had won 175 and Congress only 15. So the strike rate was 92% versus 8% for the Congress party.
Yeah.
This time, the numbers have increased to 215 for the Congress, for the direct contest.
Hmm.
Congress party has won 63 seats, 62 seats, from 15 to 62. And BJP's tally declined from 175 to 153. So the strike rate, or the Congress party, won 30% of the direct one-to-one contest, largely in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Haryana, Karnataka, some seats in UP, some in Bihar, some in Jharkhand. Now, this is the most fascinating aspect of this election. This
Mm.
shows that BJP's invincibility has been challenged by the Congress. Of course, we can argue whether Congress has recovered or not. It's a continuous process. But now Congress has shown to its cadre, supporters, and leaders that the Congress party can beat BJP, or defeat BJP rather, in direct one-to-one contest. That's a big message of this election. And
Mm.
of the 63 seats which BJP lost, 22 are accounted for by these direct contests only.
So, what does that mean for the Congress today?
Now, what it means for the Congress is that it is on a path to revival. See, what happens is that the electoral arithmetic is such that if Congress gains, BJP declines. If BJP gains, Congress declines. That's the
Mhm.
arithmetic. These two parties have roughly 350 seats. The regional parties continue to win around 200, whether in alliance with the Congress or in
Mm.
alliance with BJP. So Congress grows or will grow at the expense of BJP. BJP has grown at the expense of Congress. Regional parties
So,
almost entirely
so
win.
does that mean a certain kind of bipolarity is back in politics, or do regional, for example, alliances, right? When you talk about these direct contests where the Congress is on the Congress has done much better, its strike rate has improved, all of that. Would the Congress strike rate have been the same were it not in alliances? So, for example, the Congress in UP without Akhilesh, would its own strike rate have been what it is? And we can take other examples from other states as well when we talk about alliances. Maharashtra, for example.
Yeah. So essentially, we come to the fourth reason as to why, we are getting into the fourth reason as to why
Yes.
BJP is not able to cross the majority mark. This time, as you said, the Congress had stronger alliances on 205 seats. Largely UP, as you mentioned, Maharashtra, 120 seats. Rajasthan also, BAP, CPIM, and RLP. Gujarat also, for that matter, Aam Aadmi Party. Haryana, Aam Aadmi Party. So on 205 seats, the Congress had stronger alliances compared to 2019.
Hmm.
In 2019, the Congress party had won just 17 of these seats,
Hmm.
or the UPA or the India bloc at that point of time. This time, they won 94 of these 205 seats. 94. That's a gain of 77 seats to India bloc's tally. So, alliances have helped Congress as well as regional parties defeat BJP in BJP versus regional and BJP versus Congress fights. That's true.
Now, you said that the Modi's own brand has peaked and it could even decline if things do not improve. I want to play out for you. We had a very interesting speech by the RSS chief where he didn't name the BJP, but he spoke about dignity, decorum. He spoke about arrogance. And today, another RSS leader has openly said that Lord Ram has stopped those who became arrogant. Now, I want to play that out for you and then look ahead at what, if you were talking to the BJP and they were looking at these numbers, what is the message they need to take home in their third term? But first, RSS's Indresh Kumar.
जिन्होंने राम की धरती की पर धीरे धीरे अहंकार आ गया, उस पार्टी को सबसे बड़ी पार्टी घोषित कर दिया और उसका और जो पूरा उसको मत मिलना चाहिए, जो शक्ति मिलनी चाहिए वो भगवान ने अहंकार के कारण दिया। जिन्होंने राम का विरोध किया उनमें से किसी को भी शक्ति नहीं दी, सब मिलकर भी नंबर एक की बनी नंबर दो पर खड़े कर दिए। इसलिए प्रभु का न्याय बड़ा विचित्र नहीं है, बड़ा सत्य है, बड़ा खानदायक है। इसलिए जिस पार्टी ने भक्ति की, अहंकार आया, उसको 241 पर रोक दिया, पर सबसे बड़ी बना दी। जिनके अंदर राम की अनास्था थी, अश्रद्धा थी, और उनको सबको मिलकर 234 पर रोक दिया। कहा तुम्हारी अनास्था का यही दंड तुम्हें है कि तुम सफल नहीं हो सकते। इसलिए जो राम की भक्ति करे तो निरहंकार करे, और जो राम का विरोध करे उसका कल्याण अपने आप है, प्रभु में बिगाड़। इंडिया लल्लू सिंह उसने जनता के ऊपर जुल्म किए थे, राम जी ने कहा थोड़ी देर 5 साल विश्राम कर ले, अब ये बार देख लेंगे तेरा भी क्या करना। इसलिए राम भेदभाव नहीं करते हैं, राम सजा नहीं देते।
So, Prabhu ka nyay, this is very interesting. But the point is, an RSS leader is openly calling the BJP arrogant. Of course, he's also criticizing the opposition, but the RSS will criticize the opposition. He is calling the BJP arrogant and saying the BJP was contained. Modi was contained because of ahankar, right? This is coming from the RSS. Now, let's talk about your argument that if things do not improve, the Modi factor could decline, or the Modi brand could decline. It still remains the BJP's biggest card. It still remains the most dominant political brand in India. I should be saying all of this. It's still 2x of Rahul Gandhi's brand as per the CSDS poll. But Rahul Gandhi's brand, because it's coming from a much lower place, is in the upswing. And Modi's brand peaking, could be plateauing, could come down. What is the message that the BJP needs to take from this verdict? Amitabh.
See, even if you see 2014 verdict, 2014 verdict, of course, Prime Minister Modi played a key role, but many state leaders also did very well in their respective states. Gujarat, Modi himself was a CM of Gujarat. Shivraj Chauhan, Madhya Pradesh. Raman Singh, Chhattisgarh. Vasundhara Raje, Rajasthan. Yedurappa, Karnataka. So you had Modi, plus you had these 5, 6 tall, strong leaders
Correct.
who helped BJP win. In 2019, of course, it was brand Modi all along. But whenever a brand plateaus or stagnates, what BJP then requires is these stronger leaders to perform, because then they would compensate for this weakening.
But many
Or
of those leaders have been marginalized today.
many of these leaders have been marginalized. So what has happened, which many people have discussed in the past, is Congressikaran of the BJP.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
So concentration of power at the top. Now there is a fantastic example. BJP gave 110 tickets to turncoat candidates.
Hmm.
Only 41 of them won. 69 of them lost. That's a
Hmm.
strike rate of just 37%. Whereas overall BJP strike rate is 54%.
Hmm.
Correct. So this is one example of the Congressikaran of the BJP. So from now on, here on, and I see positive messages from the cabinet formation, is that Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who won with a record mandate and also helped BJP sweep the state, gets an important position. So many ex-CMs get important positions in this ministry. From here on, the BJP would need to diversify their core base and also revive these strong local satraps who have lost favor in the last few years, and they need to again regroup or rebuild, because without them again it will be difficult for the BJP to go and fight just on brand Modi in 2029 elections.
So you're saying that Mr. Modi now needs to learn how to share space with his colleagues, leaders like Shivraj Singh Chauhan. What happens to a Yogi Adityanath? Is he on the upswing? Is he on the downswing? What happens to brand Yogi?
No, see, brand Yogi has taken a hit in this election as well, because the BJP performed not, or rather, you would say that the BJP has performed poorly in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
If they would have performed there, the BJP would not have been at this position. See, somehow I feel despite all the prime ministerial ratings wherein you will see that Yogi Adityanath is amongst the top prime ministerial candidates after Modi, the India is a very liberal country.
Hmm.
For a hardliner like Yogi to become a prime minister, I have my serious doubts there. And these results also, in a way, reflect that. Correct. So, uh, unless brand Yogi diversifies the many facets which could appeal to the voters, like becoming accommodative, becoming a more industry or a business friendly leader, uh, adding various other dimensions like Modi has, of a OBC champion or a champion of the poor,
Yeah.
nationalist, etc., it will be very, very difficult for him to get to that stage, because 2027 elections also first is going to be the biggest test, and the social engineering which BJP had created in that state has also sort of been disturbed by the PDA of
Yeah.
Samajwadi Party and Congress led alliance there.
So just a last word before we end. If there's one central area that you think the prime minister should be focusing on in his third term, what should it be?
See, that is going to be the economy. The price rise and unemployment are today one of the biggest issues
Yeah.
which the country is facing. India has a huge demographic advantage, which is 18 to 35 years, almost 50% of population. But that cannot be utilized properly unless we are able to generate jobs. So job creation with growth. This jobless growth will be very, very difficult now for the BJP to counter, because these two aspects, inflation and unemployment, have also had their say in the results, because even in rural areas, the BJP has lost. BJP has maintained its hold over the youth voters, but the Congress or the India bloc has gained significantly higher support compared to 2019 amongst the 18 to 35 age category. So these two things, I think, should be or could be the main focus areas for the Prime Minister going ahead.
Fascinating deep dive. Thanks for all the data crunching and doing all the hard work for us so we can understand the verdict better. Amitabh, thank you. Pleasure talking to you and hope to
Thank
talk
you.
to you again soon. Thank you. And thank
Thank
you
you.
to our audience. See you tomorrow. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.